I'm Cheryl Wilkerson. Today, we are broadcasting from the L. Douglas Wilder Performing Arts Center. We are now in Camp Suite. And today, right now, I have with me a very special young man. He is running around Virginia Beach getting plenty of things done. Councilman Aaron Rouse. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
That's good. So, how does a young man go from going at high school in Virginia Beach and then going off to play college ball, play pro ball, and then decide to come back to Virginia Beach and decide you need to be involved politically? How does that happen?
Well, this is my home. This is where I'm from. I'm originally from the St. Paul's Quadrant, Young Terrace in Norfolk, Virginia.
That's it.
I'm proud to be here in Norfolk State University. To me, I consider this my alternate alma mater. I graduated from Virginia Tech, but this is hometown for me. But I think it's more about my upbringing and exactly where I come from. The community I come from lacked the resources and the opportunity to really grow up and expand the dreams of what we can actually be. For a lot of times, I think it was, yes, I want to play professional sports, but the world is much bigger than just a form of entertainment. And so in order to be able to come back and really give back to the community, give back to those kids and inspire them to think bigger than just catching football, so to speak, or dribbling the ball, think bigger and becoming CEOs, becoming lawyers, doctors, becoming teachers, educators. I wanted to come back home and have more of that profound impact. And so that's how I got in this particular field.
So who instilled that for you?
There were a lot of people along the way. A lot of those unsung heroes. They wasn't the prominent type of celebrities who we seem to idolize, the pro athletes, so to speak. These was the everyday moms and dad who worked 2 or 3 jobs to put food on the table. These were the committed men who said, hey, I don't want you to run around and possibly join a gang. I want to get you on a football skill, instill some discipline to you, instill a great work ethic. And fortunate enough for me, my mother was very, very strong, and my grandfather, who was an Army veteran, instilled that work ethic in me at a very young age. And so we were always taught to make sure your word is your bond, you keep God first, but try to pull somebody else up, give back. And so that's why I do what I do.
You gave me goosebumps when you mentioned your mother and your grandfather, because that is really, as you say, those should be the heroes, instead of the celebrities. So you are very involved in Virginia Beach when it comes to police and the work that they're doing. Why is that a particular interest to you?
It's important. I think if you take a look at what's going on now within our country with the social unrest and how that relationship between the community and policing has really been strained, it's important that we have those bridge builders, those men and women that are in place to kind of put that perspective in place that, hey, we're all on the same team, so to speak, and that we're all fighting for the same exact thing. And so for me, it's very important to build that relationship coming from a minority community as well as a community that's been disadvantaged. It's important to me that we build relationships, strong relationships that's founded on humanity and founded on respect for the law. But at the very, very beginning, we all are human beings, and that comes with that dignity, decency, and life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so that's really what it's about.
So as a council person in Virginia Beach, what power do you have to ensure that Black people don't continue to be shot, murdered, killed at the hands of the policemen? What can you do?
Well, I think, here in Virginia Beach, we're a council, city manager form of government, but, everyone in our city votes for every single council member. But one of the most particular things I'm proud of is that, Virginia Beach law enforcement are very good. We're the example for this area. And so I want us to continuously be the example for our country. Now, that goes to say no department, no government, no one is perfect. There's things we can work on to make sure we get better. But again, it goes back to that grassroots level. You talk about reform. reforming means having more of a personal relationship with the people that you are policing, with the community you are policing. That means getting out of patrol cars, going around the neighborhood, making yourself more familiar with those families and those people within those communities. And so that way, a lot of things can be solved without actually having to take it to the next level, which is being caught up in the system, so to speak, but actually being able to see each other for who we are, the human beings that we are. And for me, that's a true passion that I have is to make sure before we get back to rules and regulations, the ultimate rule is, and the ultimate goal is, you treat others as you would want to be treated.
But it's going to take two to dance that dance.
It does, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I think for a number of years, and we go all the way back to 1619. African Americans have to protest and fight for every single right that we have here in this country. And you talk about the way our society is constantly evolving. Policing is a tough job, especially in a country where everyone thinks they have the right to do whatever they want. So we really have to come back to informing everyone that we all are bound by this social contract, right? To make sure that society can go forth, that there's a level and even playing field for everyone. But again, it comes back to accountability. That no man is above, or woman is above the law. No one is above the law. And I think when you can instill and get back to that accountability, it'll help solve a lot of our problems.
In the future, will we see Mayor Rouse?
In the future, I think that's something that's there. Sure, I have high aspirations. But
President Rouse?
Hey, listen,
okay.
if God be the glory.
Okay.
But right now, my focus is on how do we build Virginia Beach, how do we build Norfolk, how do we build the 757 Hampton Roads. I think we have to begin starting to work more together. And once we can do that,
I think people have to want to work together, and I'm not sure everybody's invested in that.
You're right, but it takes leadership. I think it takes really profound leadership, one that you can stand on your merits and your values. You're going to have to make the tough decisions. You make the tough decisions, but it is one thing I do know everyone can stand for when it comes to government is we're in a capitalist society. So once you can make those numbers work, you can raise a lot of eyebrows and people can get behind that.
That's true. Councilman, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.